Washington selects from Kelowna, the Western Hockey League, Andrew Cristall.
This kid looks like he just came right off the beach and surfing. He's an electric personality. He makes you smile. If you're having a bad day, come to the rink. This is a great teammate. Offense, offense, offense.
That's what it sounded like June the 29th at the National Hockey League draft in Nashville when the Washington Capitals selected Andrew Cristall to join their organization. Now, Cristall was sitting with his family, and he and they were probably nervous wrecks because Andrew didn't get picked until the second round on the next day, when he came in at 40th position. And then it was Andrew Cristall's turn to slip the red Washington team jersey over his dress shirt, pop the new baseball hat onto his hair, and do the handshake thing with the new managers. Then they whisked him away directly to Washington for orientation with all the other prospects for a week of playing hockey in front of the team's trainers and staff. They wanted to see what he's got, and he wanted to impress him enough, so maybe he'll get a shot at starting in the lineup in the NHL this coming season, rather than go back to his junior club for more seasoning, which is more likely. Now, on Friday, Cristall was back home in Vancouver, where he signed his entry-level contract, 3 years, $2.85 million US. He was considered one of the top 15 prospects from North America, 95 points last season. He's also the only Jewish player drafted this year out of a crop of 224 players from 16 countries.
I got to Washington, and a couple of the training staff were also Jewish, and they kind of mentioned to me that, they were, and, we stick together a little bit, so that was funny.
I'm Ellen Besner, and this is what Jewish Canada sounds like for Monday, July the 10th, 2023. Welcome to the CJN Daily, a podcast of the Canadian Jewish News, sponsored by Metropia. You may have heard the last name Cristall before on this podcast. Last year, we interviewed Andrew's father, Alex Cristall. He's a real estate builder and developer, and also he's volunteer chair of the committee that's building the new Jewish community campus in Vancouver called J-West. Andrew's mother, Jodi, is on staff at the King David High School. But Andrew didn't go there. Instead, after Hebrew Elementary, he went to a hockey prep school in Vancouver, St. George's, like his older brother, Tyler, did. And then, when he was drafted, he was 15, and he went to play for the Western Hockey League's Kelowna Rockets, where he's been for the last couple of years. Now, as his mom puts it on her social media, AC, as he's called, is going to DC. It's clear Andrew Cristall's already pretty smooth handling the media, and he's comfortable in the spotlight. He's also ready to navigate his strong Jewish identity along with a pro career. So we're joined now by Andrew Cristall from Vancouver, and also joining me and making a special CJN Daily crossover episode appearance. Welcome to Gabe Pulver. He's the co-host of the CJN's Jewish sports podcast called Menschwarmers.
Nice to work together.
Welcome to both of you. It's great to have you.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, Mazel Tov. I guess we can say that. Congratulations on this giant week and a half for you.
Yeah, no, it's been really kind of whirlwind of a few weeks here, so it's been kind of nice to now finally get back home and relax a little bit, but it's been awesome, so thank you.
Can we go back a little bit to what you just did for the last week when you were in Washington and all the things that they made you do? What can you just talk a little bit about what that was like?
Yeah, basically I was in Nashville before for the draft, and then I got picked, and the same day I got picked, they flew me out to Washington right away, so it was pretty fast, and then I got down to DC, and the whole camp was kind of just you're on the ice and working out and at the facility, and just kind of hanging out with all the prospects and meeting the coaching staff and the management, and they let us go out and do some fun stuff. On July the 4th, we went to a memorial and watched the fireworks, and it was pretty cool. So it was a pretty awesome week that we got there, and we didn't do anything really too crazy.
Did you get like hockey card photos, and what kind of stuff did they do to sort of initiate you?
Yeah, I think the initiation was more like at the draft, I guess, with all the photos and the media and stuff like that. I think once you kind of get picked and go down to Washington, it was a little bit more relaxed and more just kind of, you're kind of settling in a little bit. So it's a little bit different that way.
Well, you had to play in a tournament, right? And your team won, the great team won.
Yeah, exactly. We got a 3-on-3 tournament at the end. So it was kind of cool to come out on top of that.
Well, that's it. But what did you have in your mind to prove or show, or what's at stake for you in that tournament?
when you go to an NHL camp, you're putting on, an NHL jersey. It's pretty special. So you want to go out there and, prove yourself and, prove them, right for picking you and proving your worth, I guess you could say. And, I wanted to have a good camp so I can hopefully get the contract that they, at the end gave to me. So I think that was kind of what was at stake a little bit. And, then again, you're just kind of going out there and, a little 3-on-3 tournament's pretty fun. So.
Hey, well, you were in Washington, so we have to ask, did you get to meet any of the actual current roster of players?
No, nobody was actually in, unfortunately. So we didn't meet anybody, but we met all the staff and everyone, but no NHL players yet.
They've met the NHL players. The staff knows.
Exactly.
You're only
We're
one
close.
step away now. Yeah, you're close.
Yeah,
you're very
exactly.
close.
So let's talk about that. Have any of the NHL players reached out to you since you were signed by the team, even though you didn't physically meet them?
Yeah, there's an alumni that reached out. Carl Alsner used to play on the Caps, and he's reached out to me and texted me, congrats, and that I'll love it there. And then an old friend of mine, Vincent Iorio, also plays in the AHL, so not the NHL yet, but he played a couple games there this year, and he also texted me to congratulate me. So there's definitely a few guys that reached out.
All right. So when you meet Alex Ovechkin, have you practiced what you're going to say?
Yeah, I probably won't say too many words. I'll probably just hopefully shake his hand or, look at him and probably be smiling a lot. So it's going to be pretty surreal if I got to meet him.
Okay. So here's a quiz. And I know Gabe said, maybe we shouldn't put this in, but I'm going to quiz you. Ready?
Okay.
I have a
Throwing
couple.
me under the bus.
I have to do this. I'm a teacher. Okay. Ready? What NHL player who plays on the left wing, okay, it's really easy, has the most points in the NHL, and how many points does this person have? Do you know? We just talked about him. Has the most points in the NHL.
Alex Ovechkin, and
You know how many points?
I want to say 1,450.
85. Yeah, that's pretty good in 1348 games.
Yeah.
What can you learn from him, or what did you, since you play left wing?
Yeah, I think, he's obviously, I think, probably the greatest goal scorer in, history of the NHL. So he's always in the right spot, and, he's always getting the puck off in different ways and finding kind of ways to shoot the puck and score. So I think that's kind of the biggest thing I can learn from him is just how to kind of open myself up and get into spaces where I can, score.
The first time, just to jump in here, the first time I ever saw Ovechkin play live, because I'm from Toronto, so it was a Leafs game against Washington.
Yeah.
It looked like he was an adult playing against children. That's how much better he was than absolutely everybody else. And every time he got on the ice, the whole game shifted to be around him. And you might be on that same ice. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty insane to kind of think about, even a little bit. It's kind of, crazy. I watch him growing up so much, and now I'm kind of in the same organization, I guess, and under, same contract, I guess, to the same team. So it's pretty crazy.
Except he's 19 years older than you, but that's another story,
exactly.
Right? But your stick is not an Ovechkin curve. I learned your stick is someone from Toronto's curve.
Austin Matthews curve, yeah.
Why does that stick work for you?
I mean, yeah, it's called a P92. I think it just works for me because there's a good forehand where you got, a little bit of a curve on it, but I definitely like to use my backhand a lot, so it's, not too curvy. I think Ovechkin uses, a really big hook, so maybe not on his backhand as much as, I kind of like to be, but that's just kind of what worked for me, so yeah.
Gabe, on your show last week, there were some predictions about what would happen to Andrew.
Sure, you can hold me to this, man. It's just I think you're a high pick. You're a second round pick. Ultimately, and I'm sure you know this, you're gonna get a chance to make the team. And to what, how is that affecting you now? What is your plan? What is your hope for training camp? Where is the Kelowna versus Washington come for the next 12 months for you?
I think for me, obviously you're going to camp and, you want to put your best foot forward and, work your hardest and, whatever happens, I guess, at the end of the day. Right now, I think the thinking that I'll be in, Kelowna and, keep developing as a player and keep getting better. But at training camp, I think the thing that I want to do most is just kind of, be a sponge and learn. There's going to be a ton of NHL players and kind of like we said, Ovechkin and all these guys and, great players like Backstrom and Karlsson. So I think for me, just, compete against them and, try to learn as much as I can. Okay,
so there's an issue. Training camp is on Rosh Hashanah. You're aware of that? How are you going to navigate that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be pretty tricky, I think. So, it's a little bit of ways away, so we'll see what happens. But, yeah, it's going to be a little tricky.
Has it ever occurred to you anytime in your career, have you ever been tempted to like pull a Sandy Koufax and sit out on a holiday?
This year, actually, I fasted on Yom Kippur, and we had a game that day. So I didn't sit the game out, but I fasted as kind of long as I could and ate my, pregame meal like right before the game. So that was kind of the only time where it's ever kind of intertwined at all. So yeah, no, I've been pretty lucky that way, but yeah.
Do you know how many Jewish players have played for the Washington Capitals?
Oh, I don't think.
This is your second quiz. So
Okay.
you did okay on the first one. Ernie Wolf was the goalie.
Okay.
Jeff Halpern twice. And they say Andre Burakovsky has Jewish roots, but doesn't.
I
doesn't.
knew that one.
And then
No.
you're number 4. I don't know anymore, Gabe.
Yeah, well, you just led me to a really good question. So, who was your favorite Jewish athlete growing up?
I mean, now probably like Zach Hyman's pretty cool, just because he's super open and he's obviously an unreal player, and I watch McDavid a lot, and watching him play, it's pretty cool. And obviously he was with the Leafs before, and he was unreal there. So I think that's a guy. My dad was actually at the Maccabee games and then Zach Hyman was there, and like I think he was mentioning that there he was like sitting a couple rows behind him on the bus for the opening ceremony. So that's kind of another reason why we kind of cheer for him.
Your father played on the Maccabee rugby team a couple of times in Israel, but that's not hockey. So where did the hockey and athleticism come from?
My dad, I think, only played like 2 years of hockey, and he was a goalie growing up, so he didn't really love it too much. I think just me and my brother got into it at an early age, being, I guess still from Vancouver, hockey's kind of the main sport, and, you're in Canada, so I think we just kind of fell in love with it and, followed my brother's suit a little bit.
Back to the Jewishness part. You played in Kelowna. You played against places. Well, there are Jews in Kelowna. There's a nice Jewish community there. Did you ever reach out to them, or did you ever take part in any Shabbat dinners or whatever when you were in Kelowna?
It's a little bit harder just because the schedule is kind of so tough. It's hard to get Fridays off at all. Like we're always kind of either playing away or at home. But there's people in kind of the Jewish community reach out to me and stuff like that. So it was really nice. But definitely hard to get some time off.
You said Zach Hyman is kind of the role model, and he's out publicly and talks about anti-Semitism on different shows and what have you. And then there's like other players who are Jewish, but sort of don't, it's not part of their persona, like the Luke and Quinn Hughes and stuff. So where do you feel you're going to fit in that?
Definitely, yeah, I'd like to represent. I think I, grew up with it, and my family's Jewish, and we take a lot of pride in it. So it's definitely not something that I'm going to be shy of at all. So hopefully kind of follow in Zach's footsteps a little bit, I hope.
Have you encountered anti-Semitism at all?
To be honest, I think for me it's been pretty smooth, and I have a lot of Jewish friends, and there's a lot of people in my community for sure that are in the same kind of situation as me. So I think I've been pretty lucky that way to not really face anything.
What's your Hebrew name?
For
Abraham.
the next Rosh Hashanah game, season opener, it's Yom Kippur. That's the Andrew Cristall Hebrew name jersey day.
It is on their season opener is on Yom Kippur.
Exactly. So that's, we're putting that. If we can get in touch with the department, I will have the conversation. I'm willing to do that. And then
you put a CJN logo on it. We would like to know if you had a hockey-themed bar mitzvah.
No, I didn't actually. I think it was a YouTube thing. My brother had a hockey night in Canada, so my parents didn't want to do it twice, so I did a YouTube one.
Wait. Your brother, he went the NCAA route, and you went to junior.
Yeah.
Why did you guys decide to do this differently?
The main thing for kind of me and him are a little bit different. He didn't get drafted in the WHL, so I don't really think that option was, too available maybe at the time for him, and he really liked the college route. He had friends going to college, and he's kind of a little bit more lean towards that way, and for me I think it was a little bit 50-50. It was obviously seeing my brother go through it, and a bunch of people that I know go through it. It was definitely an option that I considered heavily, but I thought I kind of got drafted to the right spot in Kelowna, and wanted to pursue that and see what happens.
Well, they certainly like you there, because I saw some videos on TikTok of you reading kids' books to kids and explaining what is Ogopogo to the kids. So you need to tell everybody what Ogopogo is.
Yeah, it's it's the mythical creature that lives in the Okanagan Lake. So that's all it is. Yeah.
But you lied. You said you've seen it. These kids, these impressive.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to scare them a little bit.
So are you allowed now that you're under contract to play inline hockey with Connor Bedard, or is that like off limits because if you break something?
No, they haven't said anything. So we actually have a game tomorrow. So I'll be suiting up in that unless I'm told not to. But yeah.
Leave that one for the
because
lawyers.
when they have all this media stuff, like I'm sure your Instagram followers have tripled or whatever in the last few days, right? You got 4,000 views on your tricks, your hockey tricks, your that video that they just put up. Like that's a lot to get used to, all this leap into the media sphere. Who's coaching you on how to handle that?
Yeah, I don't think really anybody's, coaching me too much. I think, I've been lucky enough to do a lot of it kind of this past year, and I think I'm pretty comfortable now. So, the people, my family and, the people that are kind of around me, trust me that I'll, be able to do a decent job on the air, I guess you could say. So, I just kind of try and be myself, and, it works out usually.
Yeah.
You won an award. In grade 7 in 2014, you were called Mensch of the Month at the school at Vancouver Talmatora for doing an act of kindness. Do you remember what that act of kindness was and what this whole Mensch of the Month thing is? It's better than like MVP, so I need to know.
No, I remember the Mensch of the Month. I don't really know what I did, to be honest. Unfortunately, I can't really remember, but I remember they kind of give that award out. So, yeah.
Every hockey player has superstitions or things that you do. Can you tell us what yours are?
There's one kind of that I usually do. It's when I get changed, I go from right to left. So I put my right side of my gear on, then my left. So that's kind of the only real superstition that I have. Other than that, I'm pretty easygoing.
And is that like full on right side? Like you've got a right sock and a tied up right skate before your elbow pad even goes on?
Yeah, I go so it'd be right sock, left sock. Like right knee pad, left knee pad, and then right skate, left skate, kind of that side of thing.
Okay, but this is not because we write from right to left in Hebrew. This is not having to do with that, or is it?
No, that would be actually cool if it is, I guess. But no, it's just kind of what I felt most comfortable with. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. But yeah, maybe I'll say that now.
That's it. You can use it free. I'm not.
Thank you. Yeah,
because when when Vancouver, when the Canucks come to Vancouver, maybe that's when you'll get to have your debut at home on March the 16th, right?
Yeah.
The circled date.
I have circled the date. I mean, but we never asked you what your favorite team was growing up. We asked your players, but we never asked you if you had a favorite team.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy answer. It's definitely the Canucks.
I did have one quick question before we go. If there's a Jewish food that you could never give up, what would it be?
Ooh, for me, I think it's just like gotta be challah. Like it's just like, I'm a pretty big bread guy, so it's pretty easy. Or matzo ball soup. I think those are the two.
Thanks, Gabe, so much for being
thank you so much. This is great.
Together. Thanks, Andrew. It's been great to have you on the CJN Daily.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
And that's what Jewish Canada sounds like for this episode of the CJN Daily, sponsored by Metropia. Integrity, community, quality, and customer care. Today's listener shout-out goes to Irv Osterer of Ottawa. He helped a little bit with the research. And Andrew, if you're listening, he wants an autographed hockey card for his collection. And we'll end the show with a little bit of what it sounded like after Andrew met the media for the first time at the draft. Thanks for listening.
How would you describe yourself as a player? What's your self-assessment?
Yeah, I'd say I'm a highly skilled offensive player. I can produce at a high rate, and I like to bring people out of their seats and most importantly win hockey games. So that's kind of the player I am.